Stunning, magnificent, beautiful, words that describe the high desert of northern Nevada. A front window view of the Ruby Mountains was the #1 reason we chose our place. When we first moved out here, we didn't have many neighbors. Then as the housing market boomed, realty signs began popping up all around us. Prospective buyers picked up all the acreages. With that, we knew we needed to get a good fence up to keep our critters in. And other critters out. Nevada is an open range state. Open range defined in NRS 568.355 means all unenclosed land outside of cities and towns upon which cattle, sheep, or other domestic animals by custom, license, lease, or permit are grazed or permitted to roam. In other words, if you don't want them on your property, you fence them out. We're putting a 4.5-inch drill steel pipe fence around our place. When doing any activity that can throw a spark, which can and will start a fire, we keep shovels handy and have a water hose hooked up, ready to fight it down. One day, when we were working on the fence, using the cutting torch to cut the pipe into posts, we then cement the posts into the ground, measure and cut them off all at the same height. Hubby likes nice, straight, even fences. David's cutting torch was spewing sparks that kept starting little blazes. I even sprayed him a couple of times as the fire was underneath him. We then switched to putting on the top rail, which required welding it to the coped fence posts. David started a fire. It had been a really dry year. I used the shovel and tried to stomp it out, but it didn't work. The fire was spreading fast around us. So I sprayed him just like I do when he was cutting. Okay, so maybe most of you realize that a welder runs on an electric current. At this exact moment, I forgot that blasted important information and blessed my honey with quite a jolt. He kind of danced, shook, vibrated like he was too close to the thunder, and then he threw the helmet off and glared at me with a very evil, fierce look. I didn't know why, so I smiled at him. When his blood pressure went down a bit and he could finally feel his body again, he moved toward me and shouted over the noise of the welder, "My arms are freaking numb!" "Why?" I quipped. And I quote, "Because you just shocked the piss out of me and it hurts like hell." I did? How? Innocence oozing from my lips. "This welder is electric. You could have killed me," he said as calmly as he could through his very clenched teeth. I didn't mean to, but I started laughing. Even thinking about it now, it makes me start to giggle. I apologized and apologized for days. Before I could get done apologizing, though, the giggles would break out. I honestly didn't think about it shocking him. Because of that one little mistake, he always gives me the look when I have hose in hand while he's welding. Needless to say, when I weld, I wear the auto-darkening helmet so I can keep an eye on him and the hose.